Good morning and welcome back to my garden. I wanted to start this garden tour off over, not in my garden, we're by my pool. But this is where I have my artichoke plants. And they started coming back a few weeks ago and they're looking lush and beautiful in there. This one, I started from one seed 2 years ago. And it is currently 12 plants here, 1 plant here, and 5 plants there. So from one seed, I have 18 plants growing in one spot. A few of them are from dropped seeds. Most of them are from the plant splitting in the new season because 1 will become 5, will become 12 apparently. And we have this tray, which is the beets, turnips, collards, that says mustards, and then 4 kales. Those are going to go into green stock mostly. And then still have these Romanescos that I really need to get in the ground. They're probably stunted by now. And then a couple of cups of onions. We'll find a place for those in the next week or so. Over here I moved into the sun, the tray for hardening off, so they'll be ready for the garden. There's my broccoli. 16 broccolis are going to go into one of the beds. I'll point it out when we're over there. And then my onions that I'm going to try to fit as many as I can. And then the rest of my onions that are actually looking better, I'm going to start them all in cups like this next year instead of like this. These were started a few weeks earlier, but these ones are looking thicker and they're going to be easier to plant out. So I'm going to get those in the ground in the next week or two. All right, first bed here to the left. It's only 11 in the morning and this corner of the bed is already in shade. So that is why this bed is my flower bed and not trying to grow food. So we have the sweet peas starting to climb, and they're actually, you can tell they're leaning that direction because they're going to get more sun that way, but I'll let them grow how they're going to grow as long as they grow up. And then over here is all my nasturtiums, and I'll put a picture in to show what the nasturtiums looked like before I cleared this bed in the spring so that you can get an idea of where these volunteers in the walkway came from. And the seeds that I planted were here, 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 here. So that one over there in the corner is also a volunteer. But that's all right. We like nasturtiums. They get nice and big and bushy, and they'll take up this whole walkway where all of this other stuff is. So that'll be lovely. On the other side of the entryway, we have my son's green onions that he's been harvesting off of. He likes to make his spicy ramen dishes, and those are chives that I've not yet harvested. Yesterday we actually needed chives for a meal, but I trimmed back my seedling onions instead. We used those. Worked out. Here's the first brassica bed. This bed is 4 feet by 4 feet, and the netted portion is about 3 feet that way, so 4 feet wide. Inside there we have Romanesco that's looking really, really good. Another Romanesco that I picked a couple of worms off of, even though it's netted. There were a couple of cabbage moth babies trying to eat my plants, which I don't mind so much. The net is actually to keep out birds, not caterpillars. But in the front corners, I put some bush variety of nasturtiums that shouldn't get really big and take up a bunch of space. But I like them because they have the pretty variegated leaves on them. They're Alaskan something or other. If I can find the seed packet, I'll put in a picture. Down the middle we have kohlrabi, and that one is actually starting to bulb up, so that's pretty cool. And the ones behind it aren't quite as much, but they're still growing well. And then this half of the bed in the back has 3 sprouting broccolis that are probably crowded, but we'll see what we get. And then this side has 3 regular broccolis in it, so it's kohlrabi down the middle to split them. And then I can keep track of what's what because I'm not very good at that in general. I'll go over to the other side of that bed and keep it all in the same bed together. On the other side of that net, we've got peas, and one of them randomly decided to be like crazy climber and make the rest of them look bad. But they're all looking good. The ones on this end, actually, take my finger. The ones over here on this side were planted almost a month later than these ones, and they are catching up. So I don't know if it's because of a different variety or just better conditions in here for the second planting, but they should be ready all at the same time. And then down in the front, is where I just sprinkled cilantro seed really heavily, and apparently they all clustered together around the water. But I'm excited for some cilantro to grow in there because we love our cilantro. Coming off of the side of that bed with the Romanesco cauliflower and all of the broccolis and kohlrabis, over here, this is the green bean space. And there's actually a volunteer onion in this corner. And in this corner, kind of worked out nicely that they stayed in the corners. But this half of the bed is green beans, and then this half of the bed is yellow beans that I planted weeks later, like 2 or 3 weeks later. But they're all putting on flowers and starting to have little baby beans. At the same time, these ones, yeah, nope, they are having little baby beans. So again, I planted them later, like the peas, and they're doing their thing just as quickly. So I like that. And this pot on the end, while I'm back here, has Jerusalem artichokes, otherwise known as sunchoke. In the summer, this plant got about a foot taller than it is now, and then it died in a heat wave, so I cut it back and it started growing again when temperatures cooled down. I never got any flowers from it. I don't know if I will, but I'm watering it and letting it do its thing. Up here in the front, if you remember, we had radishes. I pulled most of those out because they weren't doing anything, so. But I kept the ones over on this side. These were supposed to be an 18-day radish, and it's been about a month and a half, and there's no radish. I think I might need to bury the bulb a little bit more, bury the root so it will bulb. Some of them are trying to, and it's like a funky looking little squiggle. Anyway, those ones I will leave. I want to see how long it actually takes when it's supposed to be 18-day. And then back here, you can only see a couple of them because they're behind the mesh, but I got some peas. Sorry, putting that guy up on this trellis so he doesn't attack my green beans. We have peas back there, all behind there. We'll see them from the other side in a second. Inside of this mesh hoop thingy, we have 2 tomato plants that I did get to fertilizing, and they are not looking super great still. This one doesn't look great. This one's looking a little bit better. But then in behind there, I planted rutabaga right behind the tomatoes, and then off to the side, and then towards the front on this side. And then all the way up to the front are purple kohlrabi. And I planted them the day before I fertilized, so they got some fertilizer in there. They're all doing all right. Nothing is eating any of them that I can see so far, which is good. This is what I used for fertilizing them. Fish plant food. It's disgusting and smells like a dead fish, but the plants like it, so I like it. And further along in this bed, I have my banana pepper plant. It doesn't need to be covered, but it's in with the brassicas that did need to be covered, so it's covered. And I like these. These are called ladder mesh. I got them at Home Depot. These 2-inch ones are only like $3 and some change maybe. And then on the end there's a wider one that's like $5 or so. But they make a good tall hoop for stuff like the pepper. And it means that I can keep my broccoli and Brussels sprouts covered all season instead of having to take it off. So down here in the front is more the rest of that. The purple kohlrabi there, and then right here. And that one is looking fantastic. Better than the other ones are. But up here is a regular kohlrabi, green kohlrabi, that I stuck in there a while ago. And then behind it are the ones that had gotten eaten when I put them in, and it looks like they have gotten eaten more, which is crazy because the birds can't get in there. But for some reason this one in the front is doing great, and those ones still look not great. This one was starting to come back, and actually after I fertilized it, that center leaf is looking really green, if you see that. So maybe that one will come back and be healthy. But if not, I'll come back through and probably just direct seed some more kohlrabi in that row, in the middle. And this little pepper plant is my shishito, and he's got a glorious little pepper on there. He's not a very tall guy, but those are my favorite peppers to eat. It's got some blossoms coming on. And sorry about that. I got a phone call from my daughter. She wanted me to pick her up from school early, and I said no. Anyway, where were we? This is a Brussels sprout, and this guy in the middle is a Romanesco cauliflower or a broccoli. It probably says it on that cup, but I'm not going to go down there and look for it. That one on the back is also a Brussels sprout, right there. I don't think Brussels sprouts do very well in my area, but my husband likes them, so I told him I would try. Then off to the side of that bed, we have a big potato pot and a slightly smaller potato pot. And they're looking good. And those 3 pots behind them, if you saw my last video, we planted our garlic out in those pots. And nothing's coming up yet because it's only been 3 days, but yeah, they're looking good over there. And then on the other side of the walkway here that has all my stuff in it, this is the green stock that I have. And it has those same nasturtiums that are the variegated leaf that are really pretty. And that whole bottom tier is nasturtiums. They should only get about as big out as this trellis will support. So there's nothing planted there, there's nothing planted there. This one has a few pockets of lettuce that have grown a little bit since I fertilized, but I think I need to thin them out. And then the rest of that is going to be the collard greens and the other greens and stuff that I have over on the porch. Behind the green stock, there's a little 2 foot by 2 foot bed of potatoes again. And then there's a pot. I'm going to come on the other side and show you the pot that has some volunteers. I think one of them might be a pepper plant, and the other 2 are flowers. I had dahlias or something in there. I didn't think anything survived because I hadn't really watered that pot very well in the summertime, but something's coming back. And then, sorry, past the green stalk again. Just coming through the fence outside, there's a little volunteer basil plant behind my potatoes. And then this is the spot where I planted my experiment for the fall. I planted pole beans. See if we can get some green beans. I planted 2 varieties. One's a purple one and one is rattlesnake, I'm pretty sure. But I just intermixed them in there. I didn't like do one side and the other or anything like that. And then I need to get these snapdragons in the ground, but they were sitting here because I had my hose right here. And when I forget to turn the hose off, it'll drip a little bit, and then it was watering the snapdragons. So there's a method to my madness. This is the empty block bed that I made. I put some granular fertilizer on it after I planted the garlic because I was using the fertilizer anyway. So I think in there I'm going to put most of the onions, and then I might put some flowers or something in it. Behind that, nothing planted yet, is my round bed. I'm going to put my... Sorry, there's a truck. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm going to put my tulips in that round bed, but I can't plant those till Christmas. So I need to go through my seeds and see if there's something that I can grow between now and then. Maybe I'll try radishes over there or something. I don't know. But for now, that round bed and then this cinder block bed don't have anything in them. And the green beans. And then in this pot over here next to my cinder block bed is my jicama plant. And it had pretty flowers on it last time, and now all those flowers are turning into beans. These beans are not food. You don't eat these. These are poison, actually. They'll give you an upset stomach. But I'm letting them grow because I can save the seeds and grow more jicama. So there's several of those coming on there now. But the jicama itself grows under the ground. So when the plant dies back or when the seeds are ready and I can harvest those, then I'll dig in there and we'll see what kind of jicama we got. It's my first time growing it, so I'm not sure what to expect. I got a comment, is that a snake? Yes, it is a snake. It's a rubber snake. It's supposed to scare the birds away, and I don't think it works, but they haven't dug in that bed in a while, so maybe it does work. Above the jicama, one of my Kajari melon plants has taken over the trellis, and this one is all weird shaped, but it's actually turning orange, so I think it might be ripe soon. I don't know. I got out here and I netted up They're called hammocks. I got them on Amazon. It's a melon hammock. I did that for all my melons in an attempt to keep the rats from getting at them. And then, as you can see in here, that didn't work. The rats still got at a few of them, ripped through the netting, which I don't know why I'm surprised, but yeah. So the rats can still get them. So I cut those off and threw them away. Those are the melons on that trellis. And then over here, my mailbox with my tools in it. This is the main melon trellis. It was an arch, but then I took it up and made it like a half arch. But these plants are my main love-hate relationship right now. We're going to go underneath them because it's shady and I like the shade. But they are infested. Can you see that? They're not even hiding on the underside of the leaves anymore. They're on top of the leaves too. These are infested with aphids. So the leaves are looking really tore up because I've been coming in here with the jet sprayer on my hose. And I've just been spraying the crap out of them in an attempt to get some of them at least off. And it's worked a little bit, I guess, but not great. I also have some good bugs in here that I've seen, so I don't want to spray those off. But at the same time, I just want the aphids gone. So there's a bunch of melons in here. You can see they're all in red, so they're a lot easier to see now. But I think as soon as I get a few more melons off of this, I'm just ready to tear it down. I'm ready to tear it down now, but I don't want it to be a waste to not get anything edible off of it. So I am fighting the urge to remove the entire stinking thing. That one up there is fine, and then there's two back there behind it that, knock on wood, I don't know if the rats can get to, but between the rats and the aphids, I am very ready to be done with this melon monstrosity. See, they're just so gross. It's gross. I hate it. It's gross. But my kids like melons, and my husband actually is excited for some of these, so I'm really hoping to get a few off. I'll come around this side and you can see it from the back. It's really pretty. It's just really buggy, and I'm over it. I'm ready for the fruit, and I'm ready for it to be cleared. And this is where the circle bed is on the other side of that. So, to give you an idea of where we're at in the garden. And then, so that's the melon. On the other side here, this is the watermelon that we're still waiting on. I had to hook the little arch to the frame of on the bed because it was falling over with the weight of the watermelon. There's one watermelon, and the tendril is starting to turn yellow, but it is not dried yet, so we can't pick that quite yet. But as soon as we can, this is where that tray of broccoli is going to go. I have 16 broccoli plants that should fit in here. It's a 6 by 4 foot bed, and there are a few plants in it, but not a ton, so there should be room for 16. But anyways, this one is a, don't tell me I know this, I can't see the cup, so I don't know. This one's a Romanesco, which means that one is a Romanesco cauliflower. I'm trying to focus on the plant, not the net. And that one in the corner is my last Brussels sprout. I only planted 3 because my husband's the only one who actually likes them. And then on the back side of that bed, we have 3 pepper plants here. That's a bell pepper, a yellow giant or something like that. Another shishito, and then a blot, which is a bell pepper. I picked a couple of those this week. They're good. I want to wait till they actually ripen, but it tasted like a green pepper, so it was good. And they're pretty, and they have like purple streaks and stuff. But these 3 peppers were transplanted here at the end of summer after they survived being in the big bed over there. And that part of my garden got the most summer sun, and I'm surprised they survived. But I put them back there for a little bit of shade. And they're doing better back here. We got a bell pepper on here. We're going to wait for it to turn yellow because yellow is my favorite bell pepper. We got a shishito that doesn't, well, but it has 1 pepper on it. 2 peppers that I can see. And then there's a few blooms. Really hoping I can get a better shishito next year or some point. I don't know. But yeah, that's the back of that bed. As soon as that watermelon's ripe, we could pull that watermelon out. And I might even extend the net to go completely over and enclose the bell pepper. I don't know. We'll see. Because the fact that it's like narrow and then goes wide on that side is a little bit, I don't know. My brain doesn't love it. But anyway, back over here. On this side is the potatoes we planted together. And their little cage. And the ones up front, you can see there are 3 plants. That one's just poking through as of yesterday. Oh, there's another in the back. So we have 4 plants coming up from our potatoes we planted together. And what we did here was I put down compost on the base and then just dug a little furrow and put the potato halfway into it and then covered the whole thing with a few inches of straw. And I might go in and add more straw, or I might just leave it as it is. It depends on how I feel. But if you want to watch the video on that, it's a few videos back. Just go check out my channel. Next to that potato plant is my massive asparagus corner with a dead sunflower plant back there that I can't get to because the massive asparagus is crazy. It's just doing its thing and I'm loving it. And then next to it is the volunteer that is gigantic. And then I moved my lime tree over here actually because I had an empty space. And so the lime tree is now part of the jungle. There's a little tomato plant down there that's not doing great. I did fertilize it and it does actually look a little bit better, but I don't know. It might just be the variety. This is the same variety here. It's the Arctic Rose Dwarf. So it might just be the way that it grows, but again, I don't know. This one and that one are the same age, and that one is tiny, and this one is decent, but not huge. I have not seen any blooms on it, but that's all right. It's got time. Ooh, I love that tomato smell on my fingers. Oh well, I don't need the space, so I'm just going to let it go. Looks like underneath it there might be a volunteer of some sort of herb, so cool. It's just doing what it's going to do. Next to that tomato, we have my oregano in a pot, and I said it in the last garden tour, I need to get it harvested, get it dehydrated, but I have not done that yet. It's not a hard job, it's just like, it's a job, and my brain says, no, we don't want to do a job, so we don't do the job. You ever get like that? You have a job you need to do, and it's going to take you 2 minutes, but your brain's like, no, we're not going to do it. The lantana's gigantic and massive, and probably another job that I need to do, but that one's not quite as easy and little, so we're not going to do that. Shh. Alright, and then over across from that, bigger zoom on my lens here. These bushes are huge. This is a jalapeno plant. I harvested actually a lot of these, and it is coming back with tons of new babies. I did a harvest and then I took them inside and canned them. I started doing a video of it while I was harvesting, and then my ADHD got away from me and we just needed to get the job done, and I didn't grab the camera, so you don't have a video of that one to watch, but next time I will. But anyway, they had tons of blossoms, and now the tons of blossoms are turning into tons of baby peppers, which was the plan. I figured if I picked a bunch green, then they would produce more, and then I can get them all orange. I think these are orange. Yep, that's an orange spice, and then I also picked from the plant behind it, which is a pumpkin spice. I did not pick from this plant, though. This is the Craig's Grande, and I'm hoping they actually get significant size. That's not too bad, but I want it even like twice that length possibly. When I harvest the Craig's Grande jalapenos, I'm going to make them into jalapeno poppers, and I'm going to do a bunch of them, and I'm going to stick them in the freezer because jalapeno poppers are great to have for whenever. This little one down here is a Grande that I planted in August or September, so it's not very big, but it's putting on some fruit, so we're not gonna judge it at all. The bigger one, that's a nice big pepper right there. The bigger one was planted out in April, and so it had all summer to get big, and now it's beautiful. Next to that is the purple cayenne, which the peppers are getting significant size. They're all purple or black looking, but the side that didn't get any sun is actually green. So that's how I know they're not ripe yet, because they'll still be purple when they ripen, but the green part will also be purple, I'm pretty sure. But it's still also putting on new flowers, and the flowers are beautiful little purple things. So getting lots of blossoms. We're going to have a whole bunch of purple cayenne peppers. And that's my only cayenne pepper plant that survived. I had an orange one and I had 2 red ones and they all died. So this is my last hope for cayenne peppers this year. And it's doing fantastic. Alright, we're over on the other side of the pepper bed from the cayenne pepper. This is a tomato plant. It's a Hungarian heart, I believe. And it's not looking very good. I don't know if it just doesn't like the cool nights. It's not even that cold. It's only down in like the 50s, but I don't know. I did fertilize it. It's not looking much better, but we're going to leave it there and see what happens. This guy here, that beautiful pepper right there. This is an Anaheim plant that I planted in the fall, in late August, early September. And it's doing pretty well. It's still a little guy, but it's growing and it has a bunch of blossoms on it. And then this one is a Grande jalapeno, Craig's Grande. This one's a Craig's Grande jalapeno that I planted in late August, early September as well. This one, and also this one, but this one got shaded out and isn't doing very well. So this one has some peppers on it. It's doing all right. I can't complain. If that was my only pepper plant, I would say that looks really, really, really good. I just can't compare it to its brother here that's been in the ground for 5 months longer than it has, because it's huge. Oh, there's a red one on there. That's not Grande, but I'm going to take it off. It's supposed to be a Craig's Grande. That's Craig's Un Poquito. That one's Grande. That one is pumpkin spice. That one was supposed to be pumpkin spice, but that's red. So I might have mixed up my seeds, or it just doesn't know what color a pumpkin is. I don't know. I harvested a bunch off of this one too when I did the pickling, so it's got a few new ones coming on. Not quite as heavily as the orange spice did, but you can see there's some little ones in there. There's a couple of blossoms down here. These are pretty white blossoms. That one in there is a lanky and shrivelly lemon spice jalapeno, I believe. I picked a few of those off too, and they put on new blossoms. It didn't have very many peppers on it in the first place, but it's got a good amount of new blossoms. This plant over here that is the tallest, somehow the plants that do the best in my yard end up being the ones that I don't like as much. But these are the poblanos, and they're doing well. I've picked a few, and that set off a bunch of new blooms, but I don't know. I don't love a poblano. I don't hate it, but it's probably really good in salsa, and I haven't done salsa with it yet, but I would rather it be a jalapeno. But look at how big the plant is. It's beautiful. It's almost as tall as I am. And then against the wall over there is my cactus that I don't know if it likes being in the sun. I think I'm going to put it on the ground. I also need to water it, but I'm going to let that have some shade. It might be okay in the shade. There. Now there's a cactus in my pepper bed. Oh, cool. And on this side is another pepper bed. These ones are the not quite as spicy. Back here is Anaheim. There's 2 plants. They're falling over. And the peppers are growing. They're not looking as beautiful as that short one, but we're getting some Anaheims in there. I love me a green chili, chicken, anything basically, so the Anaheims are great for that. This big guy here is Big Jim, and I harvested some of these along with the Anaheims and made them into canned green chilies, but I don't think I'll do that again with the Big Jims. The skin was too thin. There wasn't enough flesh, but since picking a bunch of them, there's tons of new blooms coming on. Tons and tons. So we're going to get a lot more Big Jim peppers, which I am going to let ripen and become... There's a big one down here. Oh, that's a really big one down here. I'm going to let those ripen and become red so that I can dehydrate them and put them in with my paprika powder. So I think that'll be a better use of them rather than roasting and using all that energy to not get a very good yield. This one right here, that's the blot. It's a pretty purple streaky one. That's what it looks like when it's not ripe yet. But it still tastes good. It tastes like a green pepper, a little bit sweeter. This is a branch from, who are you? Lesia. No, it's not. That looks like Big Jim. I don't know. See, we've been in here before. I don't know what these ones are. They're all mixed together. But I know that there are a couple of peppers on here that are shaped like Alesia. They're like a ball with a point at the end. Like that. That's Alesia pepper. It's coming off of this plant. Okay, so here it is. Yep, there it is. Alesia pepper. We're going to go through this every time I'm in here. There's one turning red. I tried one that was about this stage, and it was really sweet on the red spot. So I'm going to wait till it turns completely red. That's supposed to be the sweetest pepper. And then that one's blot. And next year I'm not planting them so close together because I want to know what's what. And this tall one here, it's called a nada pino, which is a jalapeno, but the spice is not there. And I really enjoy them. I can snack on these because they're tasty. But we got a bunch on here. I tied the plant here for support and did not intend it for it to climb all the way up. But I'm not sad that it has. This is actually my tallest plant because it's climbing up, but it's only that one skinny stick, so it's not really big. And next to him, another one that's doing really, really well that I didn't particularly care if it did really, really well is the Pippin's Golden Honey. And there's a couple on here that are close to ripe. There was another one at the bottom I saw when I was crouched down. That's pretty ripe, pretty close. They turn orange when they're ready. They go through these different stages of color. They're good. A lot of videos that I've seen have hyped them up to be like the best pepper ever, which I don't. Oh, dang it, I just broke that. Well, it looks like I'm going to have some peppers later. They're good. They're not the best pepper I've ever had, but not a bad snack when I haven't had breakfast yet. Okay, these two pots over here, that one has chamomile that reseeded itself because it was in there. I never got to harvest my chamomile because it got covered in aphids, so I went to put my hand behind it to pluck the flowers out. My hand got covered in aphids and it grossed me out, so I ignored the flower for the rest of the summer. Well, that's my giant rooster that my mom gave me for Christmas last year. He doesn't have a name. If you want to name him, drop a name in the comments. There's my ginger. It's doing well. I just grew it because someone on the internet said I could, and I tried, and it worked. Don't know that I'm a fan of ginger, but we'll see. It looks good, though. It's really healthy. And then this one, my peppermint plant, is coming back. It died back very hard in the summer, but it's coming back. I might need to water it a little better. I don't know. And there's my little walkway between them and my garlic pots. So now we're on the other side of that bed where Brussels sprout, mystery, broccoli possibility. A whole bunch of banana peppers. And then these sweet peas. Oh, look, we got a little sweet pea blossom. Not sweet pea, not flower, sweet snap peas. So those are going to try to fruit already when they're not even climbing very far. Climb up your trellis, lady. I made this whole trellis for you. Look how tall and beautiful. Climb, dang it. And then we have some tomato plants back here that I think might have a tomato on them. They've had blossoms on for a little while. Give the blossom a little tickle. Smell my fingers because tomato tar smells delicious. It's funny, in the middle of summer when I'm working on, I guess not summer, in the middle of spring when I'm working through tomatoes, that smell getting on my hands is annoying. But right now in the fall, when I only have a couple of tomato plants, there's some blossoms in there. When I only have a couple of tomato plants is when I miss that smell. So I come out here and I'm like, oh, well, we have a little bit. It's good. It's not a bad smell. You see these new leaves are not looking good, just like those other tomato plants, but the older leaves look fine, so I am baffled. The snap peas are behind it. There's a spider web right in the middle. The little dot right there is spider food, I guess. Oh no, it's the spider. We have a bunch of jumping spiders out here, but I don't have very many that build webs, so that's kind of cool to see. The variety of these two tomatoes is Celebrity. My 7-year-old picked them out at Home Depot because he likes tomatoes. And he wanted to plant some tomatoes. So I said go for it, and he did. And then again, there's the yellow beans and the green beans. And the artichoke, the Jerusalem artichoke. And there's the dirt that I sifted when I harvested the purple sweet potatoes. If you haven't seen that video, you should go watch it. Back here is my Mexican sunflower hedge. And sometime in the near future, I'm going to come in and just clear that whole spot out. I might sprinkle some wildflower seeds, or I might just leave it be, remove my drip irrigation, and just... Really, AC unit? I was talking. And just let it be, because I don't want to plant anything over there. We'll see. You know, my problem over here was in the summertime, the sun comes from that way. And the house, forgive my dirty side yard, but the house doesn't block between there and there. So my pumpkins were here, and they got completely fried because they had full sun until like 8 p.m. But now that it's fall, what's it now, 11:30? And there's already shade right here. But maybe I could plant something over there. I don't know. Maybe I'll try. We'll see. You will see in the future. But anyway, that's the garden tour for the day, and a lot of rambling from me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.